All right, full credit here. Sarah Casanelli gave this talk at the Western Division American Fishery Society meeting last May in Boise. Sarah is in charge of Fish and Game's social media outreach. I work with her a lot, and she had a really good story. I feel there's a lot of importance to this, so I thought this group would maybe benefit from some of this as well. So Sarah put this thing together, and I'm just pirating her talk. So so this is about telling stories, right? And why do you do that? I mean, we're a science-based organization, but we serve the citizens, and so part of that is explaining and informing the folks in the state. And I think a lot of the partner agencies in PNAMP have this kind of outward-facing function in their mission. So I think this is an important thing to do. You know, I'm trained as a scientist, and so it's kind of you have to be careful how you tell your stories. It's like if I'm going to tell my mother something or my cousins explain something, that's this kind of stuff. But I mean, there's a lot of reasons why you would do that. So the part that my staff and what I do myself is the first step here, which is write a blog, and we post that to the website. And then Sarah and the other folks in our communications bureau kind of take it from there, and they push that stuff out into more and broader audiences. And it's been amazing to me, some of the things that we've done that all of a sudden you wouldn't expect grow legs and take off and become popular. And let's see what's next here. So what is it that we should be telling people about? Well, you know, the things that we do, and folks are generally interested in that. And so, you know, you just have to put it out there in a form that they will understand. And you don't have to overthink it. I mean, you know, it's kind of hard for me and my staff sometimes to back off some of the details and just kind of pull back and, you know, what's the basic things? And sometimes like this last thing, what's just a cool tidbit to share with folks. And it's amazing some of that stuff that people will pick up online. Good visuals. If you have a good picture, the story almost tells itself. So I mean that, you know, if all you need to do is tell your folks, look, all we need to do is take some good pictures. It doesn't have to be, you know, earth shaking or anything like that. Sometimes it's like I walked out on the trout today, opened it up, and here's what I saw in the box. Here's a picture, bang. And it's this is an example. So one of our biologists, Darcy McCarrick, she was doing her master's project in Henry's Lake in eastern Idaho, and she wrote a blog about catching the trout and radio tagging and tracking them. And you know, here we had about 45,000 people that her story reached when she posted that blog. This was from one of our high mountain lake crews. They went out and, you know, here's how we set nets, here's what we found, here's the scenery around us, and a lot of people saw that. And here's a high quality, slickly produced video that one of our biologists took, and it was amazing to me. So you can see that there's a lot of action going on here, and we spent a lot of time setting up the scene. And I mean, this was easy to do. It's just you just happened to be out there, and we saw this. We had a GoPro, and people ate it up with a spoon. You don't need to overthink it, but people like this stuff. It's amazing. You know, you just need to get it out in the right way, and the public will consume it. A couple of things that we didn't expect. So the left picture is Carly Baum. She was doing aerial red counts. She wrote a blog about it, and she got invited onto Idaho Public Radio for an interview and you know, a 15-minute segment. So, you know, that was pretty cool. One day I was in the grocery store waiting for a prescription to get filled, and I went over to look at some fish porn, and I opened up this salmon, trout, and steelheader magazine. here was a blog in there that I had written. I was like, crap, somebody stole my picture. And then I started reading this. Like, they just lifted the blog and published it in that magazine. Never would have known it. And then one of our folks and Micah Davison in the scale lab, we had a scale that we took off of a repeat spawn and steelhead. And he wrote a story based on it, had a pit tag in it. So we were able to reconstruct its life. And he wrote a blog about it. And it got picked up by Northwest Sportsman online, and it went crazy. This is the newest thing. I can't say that I have much to do with this, but you know, it's just kind of short videos, and it's kind of cool. So here's the first one. It's about some work that we're doing up in the Kootenai River with burbot. I'll just kind of let it run.
Your sound.
I don't know. Is there sound?
There wasn't that last one, but I don't know if it'll come through.
Well, I can't remember if there is here. I hope the last one.
I mean, it's a great visual.
Yeah, you can't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the quality of it.
Yeah. This one took a little bit more effort. They actually had somebody out there with the camera, and you know, here's what we're going to do, and so you know, they had a couple of pictures they wanted to get.
That's cool. Most people will never see a burbot
Right.
in their life.
Right.
So that's pretty
The
cool.
Kootenai burbot is a pretty interesting story to begin with. So here's some snorkel surveys that actually is a mashup of a bunch of different things. I want to say there was music attached to that. That was something that they put out as like a recruitment tool for summer
I was gonna say, it looks like
employment.
have
So
a
here's some of the stuff that we do. And all right, this has music to it. So, and I don't hear the sound.
Oh, bummer.
Bummer, dude. So if you can imagine chariots of fire, I apologize that the sound is not working because it really
We could send
magnifies the
links
impact.
later.
It's just putting fish into the Boise River, you know, and people are interested in that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know that I need to add a whole lot to that. This is an important thing to do. Public outreach is part of our mission, and having the ability to do this is, I think, an important task, even if it's not written into my job description. You know, and I don't get to see these things. This is what our social media folks do, but they you know, we tend to get a lot of good public feedback from this stuff. So looks like we got somebody hired for our snorkel crew off of one of our blogs. So this is what my group does. We put together a place for the Idaho's Wild Salmon and Steelhead Monitoring Group. And once we had that spot that we could post our blogs, the holding structure was like the foundation of all that. And then once we had that, you know, it was more about getting people, you know, to think about this stuff, to take pictures, and to, you know, empower them to post those pictures and those stories, and getting that worked into kind of our little group cultures. Now it's an expectation that you get out there, take some pictures, and think about a blog that you can write. And you know, we just try to encourage them and keep them rolling. And we do about 30 a year, a group of 10 biologists, and you know, our senior technicians. And so each one of us doesn't really need to do a whole lot of this. It's just getting the group involved in doing it. So that is it. And that's a nice fish.
It's nice.
All right. Thank you, Jen.